All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We wanted to provide an investigative update for you this afternoon on the Caitlyn Kaufman homicide. Chief John Drake will begin with opening remarks. He'll be followed by Detective Chris Dickerson from our homicide unit. Detective Dickerson is the lead detective on this case. And then Ms. Diane Kaufman with us this afternoon will also have some brief remarks for you, and we will entertain just a few questions at the conclusion. Chief Drake.
Good afternoon. Like all of Nashville, I was completely shocked at to learn of the death of Nurse Caitlyn Kaufman on I-440 Thursday night. A team of detectives, crime scene investigators, and experts have been working this case nonstop since we found out about it. The death of Caitlyn is a tragedy, not only for her family, but for the city and for her team at St. Thomas West Hospital. We're grateful for the strength of Diane, her mother, who traveled here from Pennsylvania. Since she's been talking with detectives since Thursday night. And Ms. Kaufman, we grieve with you, and we're going to do all we can to try to find the perpetrator. This case is unusual in a number of ways in that it happened on our interstate system on I-440 as Nurse Kaufman was on her way to work. And it's unusual as well as that as of 1:30 today, we've received over 46 Crime Stopper tips. And each one of those are being evaluated by our team. And they're going to continue working, leaving no stone unturned to try to find the culprits of this crime. At this time, I want to introduce our Homicide Unit Detective, Chris Dixon, to speak briefly about this investigation.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Chief Drake said, I'm Detective Chris Dickerson with the Homicide Unit. I echo Chief Drake's thoughts about the murder of Caitlyn being unusual, especially when it comes to Nashville. My team from the Homicide Unit and I have been working this case relentlessly since Thursday night. I cannot discuss all of the leads that we are actively working, but I can tell you that some of the information that we've got. At this time, we know that Caitlyn's shift at St. Thomas West was to have begun at 7 p.m. Thursday night. She left her apartment in Lebanon and traveled on the interstate system from Wilson County to Nashville. We have now determined that Caitlyn was fatally shot between 6:05 p.m. and 6:10 p.m., and we are sure of that. She was killed by a gunshot that entered her left shoulder area. The medical examiner informed me that the wound would have been fatal within 15 seconds. Caitlyn did not have time to get to her cell phone to call 911. As Chief Drake mentioned, we have received 46 Crime Stopper tips. We thank our community for that information. All of the tips that come in are being worked by members of our police department actively as we speak right now. As of today, we have not established a motive for Caitlyn's murder. We have considered all options since the investigation began, and we have not yet identified a suspect, but we are not ruling anything out. I would also like to take this opportunity to ask drivers to think back to Thursday night. If you are traveling on I-440 westbound between the time of 6:05 p.m. and 6:10 p.m., please try to recall anything you saw or anything that was unusual. I know that sometimes the information you have or things that you may remember may be very small, but anything can help with this investigation. Our Crime Stoppers hotline is 74-CRIME. That's 742-7463. It is answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Callers can remain anonymous and qualify for a cash reward. All tips received by Crime Stoppers come quickly to our investigative team. Once again, I would like to reiterate and thank the Nashville community for all the assistance thus far and the assistance to come with this investigation. At this time, I would like to introduce Caitlyn's mother, Diane Kaufman, to offer a few words.
First and foremost, I would just like to say thank you to the Nashville community for all of the support that you've given my family during this horrific time. Caitlyn's dream was to live in Nashville from the time that she was in high school. She had a passion for nursing because she was a very caring individual. And she did a lot of research after she graduated from nursing school to see where she could locate a nurse residency program because she was the type of individual that had to have all of the facts and needed to know everything that she was getting into. She did that research, found out that St. Thomas West had an excellent nurse residency program, and she applied and she was accepted. After the nurse residency program, they had offered her a position in the ICU department, and that's where she worked. She was a very compassionate young lady. Had a heart of gold and was on her way to work to help other people. I apologize. All I'm asking is that the Nashville community that she loved so much come together and help us find who did this to my daughter. This department has gone above and beyond for my family, and I will forever be grateful. And I just need, I'm reaching out to you, and I am pleading as her mother to please help me find out who did this to my daughter. And I just want to say thank you again, and I appreciate everyone's efforts. And I need closure. I need that to be able to make any sense of this whatsoever. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we take a few questions. Anyone have any questions?
You said you have like a very concrete time. You know exactly the time frame to the shots. Do you all have video to verify that?
As of right now, we don't have live video, but evidence that we do have strongly confirms 6:05 to 6:10. And we are certain of that time frame.
A lot of people have been talking about road rage. You know, do you have any reason to believe that this was or was not a case of road rage?
I can't say definitively to that right now. We're looking at everything. We're keeping the scope open. We're not going to broaden or get tunnel vision. We're looking at that. We're looking at every aspect that comes up. And that has come up in a lot of Crime Stopper tips, and we're actively pursuing every Crime Stopper tip that comes in.
Detective, I'm sure you're looking at maybe other instances that have happened in neighboring regions at the same time. This one crime had some similar elements as something that happened in Florida over the weekend. In Washington County, 2 men were arrested. They were driving from Colorado, arrested early Saturday morning for shooting at 2 people, strangers, in 2 different cars along a highway there. Detectives found hundreds of rounds of ammunition, several firearms, ballistic vests inside the vehicle. When they were arrested, they said it was time to go to war. Is this something that you guys are looking into any possible connection to? Or is something
It is. As soon as that incident happened, we were actually contacted by the police department down there in surrounding counties that it fit the MO of something that could have happened with Caitlyn here in Nashville. We do not know the travel, the path that they took if they came through Nashville right now, but we are working with them actively and talking to them in constant communication. Whatever evidence they recover, we'll compare notes, but we are working with them and it's something we're looking into. But we are aware of it, and as soon as it happened, we were notified by that county.
Do you know how many shots were fired, which direction they came from? Does it appear to come from somebody on the interstate? And is there any reason why somebody would be motivated to do this to Caitlyn? Is there any sort of past?
I can't talk in any past, anything like that. If someone was motivated, if Caitlyn was targeted, because it'd be an active, ongoing investigation. As it looks right now, the shots were fired from the interstate. But I can't dive too in deeply if she was targeted or not. But we are looking at everything.
What are the number of shots and in which direction, like was she shot from?
We do know that the vehicle was struck at least 6 times.
Ms. Kaufman, is it okay if we ask you a question? Is that Caitlyn's ID card right there that you're holding?
Yeah, this is her work badge. And every item, every pin represents the things that Caitlyn has achieved. Her nurse residency program, she received 2 Daisy Awards, and for nursing, that is excellence. And she received both of those within her first year of nursing. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what the blue one stands for, but this is her stethoscope, so, yeah.
What did you hear?
Oh,
No, you're totally fine. Has St. Thomas said anything to you? What has the nursing community done for your family?
The nursing community I have to tell you, is the strongest set of individuals and colleagues that I have ever run into. They are supporting my family with great strength in numbers. They are as hurt as I am because that's her work family. She's there 12 hours a day. So she was as close to a lot of those nurses as she was to her own family. So they're devastated just as we are. Caitlyn was selfless. She was full of life. She lit up a room as soon as she walked into it. She had a contagious laugh. She had beautiful blue eyes. A heart of gold. And she found the good. And Caitlyn was a very loyal person. And when you had the opportunity to be welcomed into her small circle, she was loyal to you forever. You were now her family. You weren't just friends, you were her family. You were her chosen family. So she is sorely missed. And I miss talking to her every day, multiple times.
Do you have reason to believe that anybody would target your daughter?
Not at all. No reason to believe that at all.
Ms. Kaufman, is there something that you'd like to say directly to the person or persons out there who may know that they're responsible for what they did to your daughter?
Yeah, why? Why did you do that to her? She didn't deserve it. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't know how someone can take another person's life like that. She was on her way to work. It wasn't like she was doing anything maliciously. I was on the phone with her prior to the incident. So I just want to know why. It was our normal everyday conversation on my way to work, Mom. Okay, honey. She was fine. She was fine. I had to get off of the phone. And when I attempted to call her back, there was no answer.